Hello, I'm Bernard Hickey from interest.co.nz and welcome to a special economic weather report brought to you in association with the Bank of New Zealand. And we're here today on this sunny day in Wellington, just outside the Reserve Bank, where earlier today it released its statement on the official cash rate. It's left it on hold at 2.5%. It's made some really interesting comments about the future of the official cash rate and the currency. It said that the New Zealand economy is starting to recover, but there are lots of signs of uncertainty all around the world. And so the Reserve Bank is saying it's not going to raise the official cash rate today, but it's saying it needs to remove the stimulus put in place on March the 10th, the so-called insurance rate cut. Remember, this was after the February the 22nd earthquake, and the Reserve Bank cut the official cash rate from 3% to 2.5%, just to make sure that the economy didn't take too much of a shock. Well, we're past that now, and the economy wasn't shocked too much, and the Reserve Bank is saying it's time to unwind that cut. So most economists are now forecasting the Reserve Bank will, on September the 15th, unwind that cut by increasing the official cash rate from 2.5% to 3%. But there are a couple of caveats here. The Reserve Bank has said it needs to see a settling down of international markets before then. So that includes the dramas in Europe with the sovereign debt crisis there, the dramas in the United States with their own sovereign debt crisis. Remember, we need to see America get past the August the 2nd deadline. It needs to raise its debt ceiling and avoid default. And then also we need to see the rest of the world, particularly China and Australia, continue to grow reasonably solidly. And then the Reserve Bank has said, quite interestingly, that it sees the New Zealand dollar causing some real damage to the economy, but it says that it can afford to leave the official cash rate on hold if the currency stays up at these levels. Now, economists have decided that means the Reserve Bank is likely to put up the official cash rate on September the 15th and then potentially pause it until the end of the year at around that 3% mark. So, what does this mean if you've got a floating rate mortgage? And most New Zealanders do have a floating rate mortgage. There are various views on this. A couple of economists say that now is the time to fix, because the official cash rate is likely to rise between 2 and 3% over the next couple of years. And when you look at floating, which is currently around about 5.75% or so, and fixed rate for 2 years around about 6.4%, then using that maths and looking what you think the official cash rate will do, you're actually slightly better off financially to go fixed rather than floating. But that really depends on the official cash rate continuing to rise from 2.5% now to well over 4% in the next couple of years. Now, most economists think that's going to happen, but not all of them, and it really depends on the rest of the world going along relatively smoothly, and we don't have another one of these crises that seem to pop up every 5 minutes. So my view actually is that you're better off floating rather than fixing, because I think the Reserve Bank's official cash rate will not be raised all that fast or all that far, because all around the developed world many households are trying to deleverage. They're trying to reduce their debt, and that's holding back growth in the developed world. And of course we have these financial crises that seem to pop up every 5 minutes, constraining growth. Well, there we have it, an economic weather report on this sunny day from Wellington, in front of the Reserve Bank, where it's kept the official cash rate on hold at 2.5%, but it's likely to increase it later this year to 3%. I'm Bernard Hickey. That was brought to you in association with the Bank of New Zealand from interest.co.nz.